Search to replace Mike McCarthy as head coach, but one name is already known: former Cowboy legend, current Colorado coach Deion "Primetime" Sanders. Now, a source said Cowboys owner general manager Jerry Jones and Sanders spoke Monday. Stephen A., you felt good about a possible Deion and Jerry reunion. That was back in November.
When you talk about somebody having the capability to wrap their arms around Jerry and get and convince Jerry to see things a slight bit differently while embracing Jerry in a way where you're not taking the spotlight from him, you're joining him with the spotlight, and obviously it's a bigger light that's being shined upon him. That's something that Jerry Jones may potentially gravitate to. Deion Sanders is the kind of dude that can roll up in Dallas and partner with Jerry Jones in a way no other NFL coach could. And I think that can't be ignored.
Eze, what's the Cowboys ceiling with Deion as head coach next year?
I think the ceiling would be possibly an NFC championship game. I mean, I was assuming everybody's healthy, of course. It wouldn't go. Certainly, they'd have no chance if that were to happen. But I don't think it's really about that. That's an appropriate question, but I really don't think it's about that. It's about the Dallas Cowboys giving you a sense that they're moving in a forward direction. Now, I know we've looked at the Dallas Cowboys and back-to-back 12-5 seasons before they nosedive 7-10 this year, primarily due to injuries. But over the course of the years, even en route to a 12-5 record, there was a lot of chaos because we saw disorganization at times. We saw a lot of people just not prioritizing when they should prioritize. We paid attention to a lot of those things, and we saw Jerry Jones in front of the cameras and all of that other stuff. And we found ourselves just waiting for that black cat to come running around because we knew that, and we still know that's what happens to this franchise. How do you alleviate that? How do you eradicate that? That's why I was the first to come out talking about Deion Sanders, because his personality, who he is, what he is when he walks into any football locker room, any football stadium, the greatest cornerback this world has ever seen in the National Football League, one of the greatest athletes we have ever seen in the history of this nation, if not this world. There are very, very few human beings on the planet that had prime time's cachet on the field, but it was equal off the field in terms of what he brought to the table. The only person that I brought up that was more viable than primetime was Bill Belichick, because it wasn't because of the 6 championships alone. It was because of the fact that Jerry Jones loves the camera. Bill Belichick wants nothing to do with the camera. So Jerry Jones, you go out there and talk and be the face, and I'll just coach this team. In the case of Prime, of course, that's not going to be him, but he's not going to be phased or usurped by Jerry in that regard. Yes, Jeff, you're right. You got to worry about somebody going upstairs and trying to get something from Jerry that primetime wouldn't allow, and you undercut your coach. Sure, you got to be, anytime that exists in any organization, you have to be worried about that. What I'm saying is the cachet that Prime brings to the table, Jerry's penchant and his insatiable appetite to be in front of the camera and the microphone and speaking about the Dallas Cowboys is not going to phase or dim Primetime's light one bit. And because that's the reality, I think that's why he's the right man for that job. Of course, assuming he knows football, which we know he does.
Yeah, I think we're looking at this in the wrong way when you're thinking, could Deion do it? Of course, I think Deion Sanders could be a great coach for the Dallas Cowboys. The expectations of what Jerry wants and what I think Deion or any coach can provide that quickly, I question. And I question exactly what you said, that Deion or anybody else, there's never been a pattern of behavior that leads me to believe that anybody's going to go put their arm around Jerry and change Jerry's mind about anything that Jerry wants to do. I don't care who it is, because guess what? Ain't but one name on them checks, and it ain't going to be Sanders. It's going to be Jones, and that's what he thinks, and that's how billionaires think. And so in his mind, he understands it's not about the coach, y'all. It's about the owner/GM. And I appreciate all that Deion would bring to Dallas and those things. But here's my question. You just brought it up. If Deion goes 12-5, his first 3 years and they lose a playoff game his first 3 years, because let's not forget, Detroit, Philly, Washington, Tampa, the 49ers, and the Rams, they're all still playing in NFC next year, y'all, and they're all going to get better. So it ain't just a given that because Deion gets there, they're going to win playoff games. So do you fire him? Because then Jerry's going to be 85. We're still wanting a Super Bowl. So my question is, it's not that can Deion do it. It's does Deion want to subject himself to that, knowing the pattern of behavior Jerry has exemplified. And Stephen A., we talked about this all season. It's not like he's made the best decisions this year. I mean, the way he's handled the press, the way he's handled his coaching, all of that doesn't limit him. He's getting more stable. So why would you put yourself in that position is my only argument.
Well, the only thing that and Canty, I'll give it to you here, but my only pushback to what you're saying, Jeff, is that you seem overly concerned about what kind of chance he's going to give Deion because of the demands. McCarthy's been there 5 years. Prior to that, Garrett was there damn near 9.5 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if anything, Jerry has been guilty of keeping guys too long.
Agreed. But my point is, to be 12-5, 3 out of your past 4 years, and the year that you're 7 and whatever, it wasn't like the Cowboys laid down this year. You couldn't just go, hey, McCarthy, and I'm not a McCarthy apologist, but it wasn't like he just did an awful job and all of a sudden they win 7 games, Stephen A. You're still, if you care about if you don't care about regular season and you care about playoffs, that's a massive expectation for a brand new head coach coming into the NFL under Jerry and what Jerry expects.
Yeah, it's a massive expectation, but Deion Sanders has never failed at anything in his professional life. So there's no reason why I would think he couldn't do the job, even under the terms that Jerry Jones would require. Now, here's what I will say. If Deion is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, it is not a question whose vision will be executed in terms of what the team is going to look like, because Deion Sanders has always lived his professional life on his own terms. Think about it. He started at Jackson State, built that program up. He went to Colorado, built that program up. He won a championship in the National Football League, All-Pro Player, Hall of Famer. He played in Major League Baseball, had success there. He had his own show on a major network that everybody wanted to be a part of, made it one of the coolest clubs on television. Deion Sanders hasn't done anything in his professional life that he hasn't succeeded at. So there's no reason why I would think he would go to Dallas and not have success. And here's the thing about the Dallas Cowboys job. When it comes to the positions that are important to winning in today's NFL, they got 4 of the 5 positions checked. Right?
I agree with that.
They got the quarterback, they got the pass rusher, they got the wide receiver, they got 2 all-pro corners. Yeah. The only question mark is left tackle when it comes to the top 5 positions. And guess what? They drafted tackles in the first round 2 of the last 3 years.
Yeah,
So the Dallas Cowboys are not devoid of talent. What they're devoid of is true leadership. And Deion Sanders has that in spades. So why would we think that they couldn't have success if Jerry does go down the road and hire primetime?
And not only that, here's the deal. Listen, I'll use the basketball analogy for you, Jeff Saturday, in this regard. Jerry World is Jerry World. You know, like Jerry Jones is who he is. And you do something in Dallas, he's going to know about it. He's going to find out about it. You're going to have to answer to the man that cut the check, right? That's like Pat Riley. Everybody used to talk about Wade County, D. Wade County, whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's Pat Riley. You know, he might have if he got a county, Pat Riley got a city. He got a damn state. That's what it's going to be. Because I'm telling you right now, in South Beach, that in all its surrounding areas, there's one man. It's Pat Riley. Now, in Dallas, that might be the case with Jerry Jones. Here's the difference. If somebody like Prime Time rolls up in there and he's your head coach, he can talk to you in a way most head coaches can't talk to you. Mm-hmm. He can relate to you in a way most head coaches can't relate to. Because chances are there's very little you thought about doing, let alone have done, that brother don't know about. And even Jerry, who prides himself on surrounding himself, this is what I know about him, prides himself on surrounding himself by youth because it keeps him youthful and stuff like that. There's certain things he just ain't gonna get, okay? And when you have somebody that can communicate with a team, that can also communicate with Jerry, And I'm not talking about forcefully, Jeff, because we know who the boss is. But I'm talking about can cajole and wrap your arms around him and have a chance at convincing him to flow with you and see your way of things sometimes. That's a primetime Deion Sanders. Jerry loves this man. And this man, and understand, Prime loves Jerry. Prime and I spoke yesterday. Prime's all about the kids. Prime's all about coaching college. Prime's dedicated because he's been coaching kids forever. And listen, I got love for my brother. I know him. And I'm like, I feel you. I'm not calling you a liar. I just don't believe you. Because I know how much he loves Dallas. I know how much he loves Jerry. And I know how much Jerry loves him. And that plays around. All I'm saying, Jeff, is it's not just anybody we're talking about. And it's not just any situation. I get what you're saying about Jerry. All of y'all are right. But Prime is different because he affects Jerry differently. If Jerry offers him the job, I'd be hard-pressed to believe Prime is going to say, I'm going to pass. I just find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but I find it hard.
I hope he offers him. Listen, I couldn't pull for Prime more. I told everybody I'd want my two sons to play for that dude in a heartbeat. There is no doubt. The whole thing that you're saying, if Jerry showed me any semblance of that in the past 30 years, the man ran off a Hall of Fame coach that had just won Super Bowls, and I wish I could believe. I wish I could believe. I appreciate it. I can't.
Can I throw something personal here?
Yeah.
I interviewed Jerry. I got this little podcast, YouTube show called Stephen A. Smith Show, and I interviewed Jerry a few months ago. You know how that happened, guys? I had called and they said, Jerry loves you. He just doesn't feel like talking, blah, blah, blah. And then out of the blue, they said, Jerry wants to talk to you. Jerry don't want to talk to just everybody. He don't want to listen to just everybody. He's not impacted by just anybody. Deion's one of those people. I'm saying it's a special situation. And when you're 82 and you've been losing for 29 years and you see more days behind you than ahead of you, and you're literally looking, I'm not speaking out of turn here, he's literally looking at his mortality. He knows time is running out. All I'm trying to say is that if that ain't incentive to go for it, especially, remember this point, Canty, Saturday, especially when you know the last thing it's going to negatively affect is your business. Now, you still got to get results on the football field. But we know primetime ain't going it ain't going to come with a deficit.
Yeah.
It's going to come with a surplus. You see? So that kind of, and he knows that? Oh, yes, it's possible. It's possible. And I find it very difficult to believe that Deion Sanders, I want to coach my son in the pro. Well, you ain't going to be coaching him in college no more.
Nah.
So why all of a sudden is it necessary to coach him in the pros? I don't believe it.
Let's get into
I don't believe
to reiterate earlier, Stephen A. said the ceiling, if Deion becomes the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, would be the NFC Championship.
No.
Coming up, which NFC quarterback is the best of those remaining in the playoffs? We're going head to head.
Đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là những video tô mộ. Đây, những video tô mộ của những sản phẩm con vật đây các bạn ạ. Đây là con chim cánh cụt này, mình tô rất chi là nhiều con vật. Ở đây con cá sấu này, nhiều lắm. Các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô những sản phẩm nha. Đây. Và để tô được sản phẩm của mình không thể nào thiếu được hộp săn mỏ. Đây là hộp săn mỏ của mình, thường dùng này. Nó phụ trợ cho mình tô màu sản phẩm. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô màu nha. Em tin Nhung đấy, Sam Family đấy. Nhớ. Chào các bạn nhé, mình sẽ đi vào chi tiết tô màu nhé. Em tin Nhung, Sam Family trên nứng. Em tin Nhung, Sam Family trên nứng. Sam Family trên nứng.
Gì đây?
Đây một con tượng của tao với lại một cái bút của tao vào nhà vệ sinh. Lúc em thấy nó trong nhà vệ sinh đi vào đi làm không?
Rồi.
Gãy hết rồi, vỡ hết rồi.
Miên man đấy.
Trời ơi. Lòng không điểm, để cho tao khỏe.
Không, vẫn là một điểm. Đợi thời gian nhưng say lên vòng đêm chúng ta.
Hướng dẫn các bạn câu tựa hôm nay của mình sẽ là ngô chiên. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu nhá. Đầu câu hỏi đây. Mọi người, đầu tiên là màu xanh nhá.
Thời gian nên nắng.
Màu xanh nhá. Tiếp đến sẽ là màu tím.
Em đánh như vậy cho cái tung bạn ơi.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là những video tô mò. Đây, những video tô mò của những sản phẩm con vật đây các bạn ạ. Đây là con chim cánh cụt này, mình tô rất chi là nhiều con vật. Ở đây con cá sấu này, nhiều lắm. Các bạn hãy cùng theo dõi mình tô những sản phẩm nha. Đây. Và để tô được sản phẩm của mình không thể nào thiếu được hộp sáp mỏ. Đây là hộp sáp mỏ của mình, thường dùng này, nó phụ trợ cho mình tô mỏ sản phẩm. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô mỏ nha.
Chào bạn nha, mình sẽ đi vào chi tiết tô màu nha bạn. Con nghe ra quay phố có hai. Mẹ ơi con nghe.
Mình đây nhá. Tiếp đến là màu cam nhá. Không được lười quay ở đây. Đây mẹ phun lúc nào? Phun 24. Trên 24.
Thế cơ à?
Người ta còn về cả vòng sớm nhất có thể.
Có lâu. Mơ vừa thôi.
Còn đâu cả đâu.
Mơ vừa thôi. Chị là vòng bao nhiêu thế còn phải kêu gì?
10 hôm có được được không?
Cái thằng này nó gửi quá.
10 hôm có được không?
Đây, 70% rồi đây. Em cứ giữ đây.
Tao sạc trên 80 đâu mới thu tới.
Cậy.
Hay là
Cho em sạc 5 phút.
tôi đem đây.
Không. Em làm gì? Làm đi. Con nghe.
Tất nhiên sẽ ăn sớm hơn so với 50 độ.
Ăn sớm mà. Không ăn muộn đâu. Trời ơi. Trời ơi. Chị tôi là chị tôi.
Giờ một ngày làm 160, một ngày 160 một ngày.
Tiếc quá. Mật khẩu là gì đây để nhắn tin nó đây. Mà thôi đây không nhắn đâu. Nick phụ chứ gì mấy bạn nó nick phụ à? Ui giời. Miền mẹn thế này. Sơn. Chị ơi.
Này một tháng sau anh Kiên, tháng này anh Kiên không thưởng 200, anh Kiên thưởng 100 tháng trước thì không đỡ được, cho nên là phải làm 4 chi ạ.
Như vậy